Hey guys, Luap TheGreat here with What's Up? What's up with Luap? So I know I've been away for a while. There has been a little bit of stuff going on, guys. Nothing crazy. Some of what you've already known. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, I have talked about it. My mother is still very, very, very sick, and I go over there at least 3 to 5, sometimes 7 days, sometimes every day, just to go help and check up on her and do different stuff, because she used to do, as a hobby sort of, she used to do woodworking, and she's actually starting to do like the craft show kind of circuit. So she was actually building up stuff to sell at craft shows, and then she got really, really sick, had to go in for surgery, and now she can't do any of that. So I'm finishing it up for her. I'm helping out with that. I'm helping out my aunt, who does dog biscuits as craft show stuff, and she wanted new shelves and stuff for her display. I did all that. Been doing a lot of stuff as far as that. Been working on my own stuff. Finally, so happy. If anyone follows me on Twitter, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I got my desk done, and it's so pretty. Oh my god, my desk. I love it. Made this myself from scratch. Well, I mean, I didn't grow the wood, but so this is pallet wood. Again, this was done very, very cheaply and with materials that did cost money, but I had them, so I guess it's free for me if I already had it. I actually used a lot of automotive materials for when I used to work on my cars and stuff like that. I still work on cars, but I mean, this is stuff that I never really used. I never really got into painting that much, because it turned out you really need to know what you're doing for it to not come out crappy. On a car, you really want that shiny, and you want that done right and wet sanded, and then the car that I was getting all that stuff for, I ended up selling because it was just too much work. I couldn't finish it myself. I wasn't confident in doing it myself. It was kind of a project car, and I sold it. Sorry. So I still had all this stuff, which included a gallon of resin, of fiberglass resin. Now, I did this without fiberglass, obviously, and I didn't use the fiberglass resin the way it was supposed to be used. I just used it as a pourable resin, which really wasn't what it's supposed to be used for, but it worked, and I worked with it, and I made it the best I could. So lots of hand sanding, lots of resin pouring. It's still not, I'm going to show you again because I love it. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. It's still not perfectly smooth. I mean, it is smooth. It's not perfectly level. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. I know, it's rude to point. I'm sorry. But I think it came out awesome. And take a look at this picture with my setup. Oh, and I have the lights on there, and that's how all these lights are on me now. That's one of the improvements I've made. I've been trying to do a lot of improvements, so when I do come back, it's bigger and better and higher quality than ever. So I've worked on my audio. It should be a lot less. There's no echo, and there shouldn't be clicks and weird fade outs and stuff like that. I had a lot of trouble with that in the past. I didn't have the gain quite right on my mic, and I didn't have it close enough to my face, and I had a weird echo. That's why I had it. I don't know. I was working my way through it, and the tripod is on the desk, so when I... Yeah, it shakes a lot. All right, so I got to stop that. Don't touch the desk. Anyway, so I did some sound deadening, and I made a video on how I did it. Check out that video here. Is that the right way? It's that way. Yeah, it's right there. Check out that video right there. So I did that, and here's some pictures. So I made my own sound deadening, super cheap. I made my own table out of pallets, which were free, and a little help from, you know, all the tools that I had at my mother's house to help put this together. And then in my basement, I did all the final assembly with not wood glue, because I didn't have any wood glue, but I had a gallon of Elmer's glue, Elmer's white glue. I used that to glue this down, not to the frame that it's on, but there was a plywood base that I made, and then I glued all the pallet pieces down, all the good-looking wood, not plywood, and then I sanded the hell out of it. I filled in the cracks with, believe it or not, glow-in-the-dark paint. So when the lights are off, this thing glows. And I wish I could show you that, but the camera I have now is terrible in low light. So it won't show it. I'm sorry, guys. But it does look cool when I see it. And so glow-in-the-dark paint and all the cracks, because it's very rough wood. There's a lot of deep crevices in between the two pieces because it's like the edge of a log where you can see a little bit of that, like the bark. And I really like that look. I like that rough timber frame kind of look. Very rustic, very old world, but it's super sealed and super clean and super well done because of the resin. So it's like old world charm with new world technology. Love that look. I always have. So aside from going to my parents' house and doing all kinds of stuff like that and helping out and kind of taking a little break from YouTube, I'm sorry there was no warning. So that was one of the reasons. And then when I was thinking about coming back, yeah, this died on me. This is a water cooling, a radiator, a AIO, all-in-one water cooling situation that I had for my CPU on my computer. And it died. So essentially my computer died. And I had to wait to get a new kind of replacement, which isn't a water cooling, but it's just a normal fan. But it's cooling a lot better than this was because this died. And I think it's because the water came out. I didn't have any shorts on my system. I didn't have any water dripping in my system. But I genuinely think it's lighter now than it was before. And I hear water bubbling a little bit when I move it around. And if the system is completely full the way it's supposed to be, you really shouldn't hear that. Bubbling and gurgling means there's air bubbles moving around. There shouldn't be air in this. It's a water cooler. So, and as I took it apart, I didn't really realize on the surface of this, you can't see that. I mean, there's fingerprints and a lot of stuff. But on the surface, it's supposed to be perfectly smooth. And right here, I don't know how much... Oh, yeah, you can see it that way. You see those, like, burn marks? They're like dimples and non-smooth areas. It's a little bit of rust getting in. So this is pretty much dead. I still want to experiment with it. I want to kind of cut the hose and see if there is any water in it and see if maybe I can use this radiator in another loop later if I was to put one together. I don't know. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you want me to mess around with this, take it apart, and maybe see what happened. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. The fan is still good for it, I guess. So my computer died for a little bit. It was overheating to the max. Every time I tried to do something, anything, just because the water cooling situation wasn't cooling the CPU like it's supposed to, my temperatures were spiking and it kept on throttling because that's what it's supposed to, instead of just completely overheating and like lighting the computer on fire, which would be bad. Or melting down my CPU. It was throttling way back. So like even watching YouTube videos was really slow and had no speed to it. It was insane. So now that I have that fixed, I can start to be back and start to do things again. Yay! And the other thing, yes, there are 3 things. The other thing is I was in the middle of sort of, I don't want to say a dispute or a battle or anything like that. It was just, there was a lot of miscommunication and a lot of mistakes. I want to say on my part, because I don't like to blame other people. I want to try to, well, I don't really want to blame myself either, but I don't want to put the blame on other people if it was my fault. I had joined a network, you know, a non-YouTube network about a year ago. And I joined up because the guy who contacted me, I still get contacted from different networks via email and stuff like that because I have a YouTube channel. What networks are, if you're higher up, I guess they can help you, but it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me, but I signed a year contract. That was the only way that it was going to happen. I didn't know how much I wasn't really going to need it or like it when I got it. So I had to wait a full year to get rid of it, to detach myself from that network and be more of a free agent again, just because basically for me anyway, And I don't want to harp on any networks that are great and they help their YouTubers and they help their partners and they're good people. But for me, all they did was take 20% of what I was making. That's all they did. And it was really a weird situation for me because I joined a network that was an offshoot of a bigger network. They were trying to, again, I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to place blame, but I'm letting you know what happened. I joined a network that was an offshoot of another one who was trying to make their own like little thing. Like some of the people from the bigger network were trying to do like their own smaller, more YouTube centric, game centric content. At least that's what they said to me. And at the time when I was talking to these people, they said at that time they only had 63 other people in their group. So I would have been like 64. And that's like small time. And small time should mean lots of one-on-one. They should be able to contact me. I should be able to contact them, no problem. And if there was ever a problem, it'll actually be one-on-one instead of being like one little number blip on a huge network that has thousands and thousands of partners. I would be one of 64. So that's awesome. So I joined. And the first week, I was getting back and forth with some people that were my like handlers or like the head of the network at that time. Again, as he said, I can't be sure of any of this. This is just what people are telling me to try to get me to join their network and give them 20% of everything I make, which sucks. And it seemed okay. And I got a couple things, like I got a subscription to something that I don't necessarily need, but it does help. And of course, I can go on my own and get that subscription all by myself without being part of the network. It was just kind of a bundle thing that came with it. And then it was all through Skype. The person only wanted to communicate through Skype, and I really don't do Skype that much. Not even visual Skype, just audio Skype. So I don't really do Skype that much, so I never really had my Skype on much. But every time I had a question, or every time I had a potential problem, I tried to comment. I reached them on Skype, and it took a long time. And I gotten messages back from this person that he was really busy with other clients. This would be only like 64 clients now. Maybe 65 if they signed another one. I really believe it was just somebody trying to just cash grab. And then a couple months into it, I did have a problem with that said program that I can also go and get on my own with a monthly fee instead of having them take 20% and give me this thing, which I could just get on my own. I was having trouble with that. So I went to contact my contact, and he got back to me with, "Oh yeah, that company's gone." What? Nobody contacted me. Nobody, nothing. No, not an email, not a hi on Skype, not anything. He just said, "Oh yeah, that company, they shut it down." So I defaulted, my account defaulted to the larger thousands and thousands and thousands of client having company who also never contacted me once. The whole thing was I had to wait a year to tell them to stop taking 20% of my revenue. That's it. And after that year, which ended in September, I put in the thing, take me off now, and it takes a month, apparently, to actually go through. So they are able to get, if you wait till the end of your contract, they're able to get one more month out of you. Again, later on, I guess I shouldn't say, I'm not going to blame them for that. It's in the contract, whatever. But I read later that I could have put in to end the partnership a month earlier, and it would have ended up like right at the right time. I didn't realize that. I waited to the end of the month. I pushed the button. It's like, take me off. And I had to wait another month. So during that month, I didn't want to give them anything. And I had a problem with water cooling. And I had lots of trouble with making sure my mom was okay. So no YouTube. And now YouTube, I need to get back into it. I need to do stuff, and I need to start making some videos for you guys. And thank you everyone who has been asking what has been going on. I really appreciate you. I didn't even have a computer for a lot of the time. Well, I did have a computer. I didn't have a working computer for a lot of the time, so I couldn't answer what was going on with me. And I knew if I answered one thing, it would just kind of speedball, and it's like, why, and why, and why, and why, and why. I had to step away, deal with my computer, deal with my setup, deal with making everything better, dealing with making sure my mother was better. And she is getting a lot better now, even though I'm still going over there at least bi-weekly just to check up and help her out and do stuff and make a bunch of food for her or take her to her doctor's appointment, which I do. Now everything should be getting back to normal, I hope. And I have a beautiful new setup, and I have a beautiful desk, and I have soundproofing, so it should sound better. There shouldn't be as many weird pops and clicks because I think I figured it out that my gain was way too high on my mic. I had to turn the gain way down on my mic because it was like getting too much stuff, and then when it fed through to OBS, which is what I use, OBS, just straight to OBS, I was getting like distortions and weird pops and clicks and like cutouts of sound. I recorded a couple episodes of something of Scrap Mechanic, and as I was going to the editing process and listening to it, I'm like, I got so pissed off at my own system. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to do research and find out what was going on, and now that should be better. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging in there. Thank you so much for asking what's going on with me. That's what's going on. Comment your well wishes for my mom if you want. Comment, I hate you, Luap, for going away for a month. I don't care. Comment, like this video. Let me know that my people are still out there, and get ready for more videos, guys. I have been working on Scrap Mechanic. I have more video games to play now that my computer isn't going to overload and overheat. Now that that's all good, I can start really playing games again and recording, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Yay! If you like what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, all that blah, 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 blah stuff. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next video. Bye!